Let me be clear and say up front that the statements and allegations made in the filing are inaccurate, misleading, and do not include all the relevant facts of this case. The facts will show that Deputy First Class Openshaw and Deputy Doe, as identified in the lawsuit, acted very appropriately and professionally in performing their duties, treating Ms. Oriano Santos very respectfully throughout the encounter and the arrest. I find it deplorable and disgusting that the groups involved in this lawsuit have tried to defame these deputies, the agency, and discredit the two involved deputies and drag them through the mud for what is clearly their agenda in attempting to stop and derail the 287 program here in Frederick County. The citizens of Frederick County, the state of Maryland, and this entire country need to know the facts, and by the end of this press release today, they'll know the facts. The two involved deputies are patrol deputies. They are not trained in and do not participate in any 287G functions in Frederick County. The two deputies were on routine patrol on the morning of October 7, 2008, when the encounter and the arrest occurred. They were making routine patrol checks behind shopping centers in Route 85. While in the car from a distance, they saw this young lady. She was sitting on the curb in the grass. She was eating. When she saw the marked cruiser approaching, estimated at about 100 feet away, she ducked, quickly grabbed her belongings, and moved from behind the curb to behind a shipping container in a very obvious attempt to hide from view. This action, which can be very reasonably viewed as suspicious action or movement, very logically drew the attention of these two deputies, both while still traveling in the cruiser in that direction. Any reasonable law enforcement officer could or would conclude from her actions that she was avoiding contact with them for some reason. One of those reasons, which happens every day, happens often, is being wanted by law enforcement. Good police work would dictate that contact be made with someone acting suspiciously in that manner, and this is in fact a case of good police work. Both deputies simply got out of the car and approached Ms. Oriano Santos, who was clearly attempting to hide. The deputies made contact with her, asked her name, and asked for identification. She was not interrogated about her immigration status, as was wrongfully alleged in the lawsuit. Ms. Oriano Santos produced some type of identification card. When she provided her full name to the deputies, they simply ran a 1029 or a wanted check through NCIC. The check came back that she was wanted by ICE on an order of deportation arrest warrant. She would have been taken into custody by any law enforcement officer or any agency in the state of Maryland or across this country. The arrest of Ms. Oriano Santos was not related to the 287G program. Be clear on that. She was taken into custody and transported back to the law enforcement center. According to records, very appropriately so, a suspicious person card was opened at 10:27 a.m. while the deputies were on the scene, and she was placed in custody at 10:35 a.m. After a brief time at the law enforcement center, she was taken to the detention center at 11:14 a.m. that morning. This lawsuit is clearly aimed at myself as Sheriff of Frederick County in the 287G program, using this lawful arrest as a vehicle to forward their agendas of the particular groups that are involved in the filing. In the past several days, these organizations have made no secret in the media that they want to see the 287G program ended in Frederick County. And what's odd about this, it's not coincidental that this lawsuit is filed only weeks after an October 4th, 2009 meeting hosted in a local Frederick church, in part by Counsel for Casa de Maryland, along with the ACLU of Maryland. The theme of the community workshop was openly anti-287G. The sole purpose of that meeting was for advocates and allies of the immigrant and civil rights community movements to assist members of the immigrant community as they complete and file formal complaints with DHS against the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. As of that date, prior to that date, there had not been one single complaint filed against this agency for the program. Now, I don't believe too much in coincidence. It would appear very questionable to me that the arrest of Ms. Oriano Santos, which was on October 7, 2008, and that lawsuit was not filed until 1 year later. How much clearer can this be? The public should be very clear on the facts that these two deputies made a completely lawful arrest and in no way violated the rights of Ms. Oriano Santos. I commend those two deputies for good law enforcement work. I'm going to tell you something. I love this country. I believe that we're headed for some big problems. Listen, let's look at Homeland Security. Let's look at 9/11. Let's look last week down at Fort Hood, Texas. Let's look at the problems we've seen. Let's look at the crime across this country, regionally, just to our south in Montgomery County, where nobody steps up to do anything. I don't want that here in Frederick County. I don't want some of the problems that you can directly attribute to uncontrolled illegal immigration here in Frederick County. And I'll do whatever I can to keep it out of here. This program is very controversial. We all know that. Some of these organizations across this entire country want it gone until the federal government steps into Frederick County and says, Sheriff, we're taking it away. We are going about our business as usual.